Okay, hi everybody, and welcome to our last class of the week. This is the one that you guys voted for beforehand, so bartender skills. I've got a few colleagues around here as well, so they might be saying a few things throughout or just giving some words of advice. Just to remind you guys, in terms of my background, in terms of bartending, I used to work, and Miss Hovington's laughing at me now, I used to work at a bar called Casbar in Oxford, and I used to train all the new bartenders who were coming in who had never done any of it before. So the aim of this is to do a quick 10 minutes and to show you guys a couple of things that if you were going for bartending jobs that would be quite useful for you to know. So I'm going to start off just by talking about some things to do with etiquette and handing people drinks, and then I'm going to show you how to make a mojito. And you've obviously got all the ingredients that you need as well. I'm going to talk you through different things and different little tips and tricks as well, things that we look for when we're looking for a good bartender. Okay, so to start off with a drink, when you're handing someone, this is obviously a high-end bar we're talking about, but if you are going to give somebody a bottle of wine, the worst thing that you can do is hand it to them or put it on the table with the label facing the wrong way. They want to see the label and they want to see what they're ordering. So if you're standing over a bar and you're giving someone a glass of wine, you should show them the bottle of wine first and then either put it on the table with the label facing out or pour it for them so that they can see the label. It's exactly the same thing with a bottle of beer. In really nice high-end places, you will always get a glass with that. So when you do this, what you should do is you should show the label. So take off the cap whilst showing the label to the person you're selling it to, and again try and put it so that the label's facing out when they get it. You can also, to make sure that they use a glass, pour a little bit in the glass first as well, but I'd be pouring it like that in front of them, showing them the label as I do it. So that's a little thing there. Okay, we're going to move on to making a mojito. So the first things that you guys need to know is that this is what's called a Boston shaker. So you've got a tin and you've got a glass, so a Boston tin and a Boston glass. You should be building your drinks in the glass. So that's where you build your drinks and you shake it with the tin. Okay, there's some different sort of fun tips and tricks and things that you can do if you want to start flaring with stuff. You can start spinning this tin. I would suggest that you use the tin and you don't spin the glass for obvious reasons. But maybe I could show you something like that, Mr. Monument, another time. Sorry?
Any examples?
Any examples would be, obviously I haven't done this in a little while, but if you were building a drink on top of you there, what you could do is you could flip the tin up so that it flips over your thumb and you put it on top. So if I was building a glass here, so the bar's a little higher, on me obviously it's about here, yeah, but doing that there, you could flip it so that it lands on it. So you'd practice that, and as you turn it around your thumb to catch it there. So I'm going to obviously screw it up now, but it looks like that. So as you talking to the person, you'd be there, and I haven't done it in a while, but you then put it on top of there. So that's, you can practice that. The other thing that you can practice is that you can spin it round your hand. So again, by using your third finger to spin it like you spin a pen in your palm. But the idea is that you could be doing that as you're talking to somebody. You're trying to keep it close to your hand as possible. I haven't done this for a while, but you know, there you go. Okay. Right, so that's the tin and the glass. In terms of a mojito, first thing that we're going to need to talk about is the lime. It's really important that you cut the lime in a certain way. I'd be looking for how you cut the lime. You want to be taking off the end of the lime first with your bar knife. So that's the first thing that you're doing, moving that away so that you've got the end cut off. You then want to cut the lime in half. It's really important that you keep your fingers away from where you're cutting. So you cut the lime in half after that. And then once you've got the lime in half, you want to cut it into segments so that you have got 6 segments per lime. So that's how I'm cutting my lime. So it looks like that in nice little segments. And what I'm not doing is cutting slices like I would do if I had a lemon or something like that. So I want to be cutting 6 segments of lime. For each mojito, it's a whole lime. So you want 6 pieces of lime going in a good mojito. Okay, moving on to the mint. We'll talk about, you always want to use fresh mint in a mojito. We're going to talk about that in just a moment. So when you're building the mojito in your glass, you want to take the limes and you want to squeeze them, so one in each hand. You want to squeeze them as you're putting them in. You don't need to squeeze every bit of juice out because you'll get that in the muddling in just a moment. So again, I'm just squeezing bits of the lime in there. And then I'm going to take my piece of mint. this is really important that when you do this, you hold the mint from the top and you put your thumbs around the stalk. And then what you're going to do is you're going to drag down to get the mint leaves off. And the idea is that then you keep a nice little stalk and this, which can be used as a garnish for afterwards. So you're going to take that and put that to one side, so that stays there. I've got my mint. If you want to be extra, activating the mint, you can whack the mint once and then you'll notice that you can smell it, so it activates it, and you chuck that in. Just for the sake of this, I'm going to add a few more mint leaves in there, but I'm going to keep the top for a garnish as well, so over there. So that's what my glass looks like so far. I've got lime juice, I've got some segments of lime, and I've got the mint in there, which I've activated as well. I'm then going to put sugar in. I want 3 teaspoons of Demerara sugar. Some places use cubes of sugar as well. But this is now the really, really important part. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my muddler, so that's called a muddler, and I'm going to put my muddler in the drink. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get the sugar to get into the rind of the lime so that it gets in there and starts making the nice sort of flavor from the rind of the lime come into the drink. And that's going to then mix with the mint, and that's really what how the mojito is made. All you're going to do is add your final ingredient after that and ice. So you can see here I'm putting the muddler in and I'm twisting. What inexperienced bartenders will do is that they'll do that too quickly and they'll smash the glass. Okay, or I've seen bartenders before build it in here and they've gone too quickly and they've sliced their hand open with blood everywhere as well. That's not a good look when you're trying to build it in front of a customer. Okay, you can see that that looks now nice and dark. It's got the lime and the sugar and the mint all mixed together. The next thing I'm going to do is, before I add any other ingredient, is I'm going to put my ice in. So normally you'll have ice in an ice bucket next to you, or you'll have something down here that you can put in. I've just got my ice from Morrison's in a bag, so it's not that salubrious, but never mind. So that's what your glass should look like, and you might have that in front of the customer, sort of on top of your bench. Today we're going to be using apple juice, but obviously in a normal mojito you'd be using a dark rum. That would be the best thing to use. The measure is here. That's 25 mils is that top little measure. That's 15 mils. We don't want that one, but we want the 25 mils. And if it were rum, we'd be using 50 mils, which would be just 2 of these. Okay, because it's a virgin mojito and we're using apple juice, we're just going to put another little bit in just to bulk it up. And you can see that that's what that drink looks like now built there. Okay, this is the important bit now. We're going to come to shaking. We're going to put the Boston tin on top. Okay, and we're going to put it on lightly. This is the bit where you could screw it up. Okay, we're going to put it on lightly. What we're going to do now is, it's just sort of a little bit snug. It's not whacked. If you whack, you'll notice that it might burst down there. You don't want that. So you don't want to be smashing anything. You want to put it on sort of lightly and you want to turn it over. You'll notice that it might come out again. But now, once I've got the glass facing down, I've got the opportunity to put my hands around the tin and knock it. And that's now going to be staying in there. So even if I turn it round, it's going to stay in there, but it's not too strong. I haven't broken any glass. So this is the shaking bit now. This is the bit, this is the sort of the money bit of the whole cocktail. What you're trying to do is you're trying to shake in a way that gets the ice to hit the back of that bit and then hit the back of that bit. So you could literally shake like that, but that's not that fun and doesn't really get the ice broken up. You're trying to make it as cold as possible. You can tell that it gets cold because the tin starts to frost. So really in the shaking, what we want to do is you want to have your hands around the tin and holding the glass. And you want to try and shake so that you shake to the top and then shake down as well. And once you start to do that, you can hear that you can get quite a good rhythm when you shake. And you can hear it when it sounds good. And you can go faster, or you can do a kind of slower shake. It depends what the cocktail needs. But you can see there that actually that has gone really frosty, and also I've got a really nice mix of my drink there as well. This is the bit that's the hardest bit. To get this glass back out again, you've got to find the bit where the glass is leaning towards the tin. So it's leaning slightly towards this side now, and then you just want to give that a little tap with your palm until you hear that noise. And once you've heard that noise, it means that it's loose and you can take it out. And if you want to, if you want to look good, what you'll often do is you'll tap, take it out, and then let the rest of the drink just sort of spill. You'll sometimes get a bit of a spill into the tin. Okay, so I've got my tin of drink. I've got a glass. I'll normally put the glass on the bar in front of the customer, and I'll build the drink obviously in front of the customer. When you have a mojito and you put it into the glass, you'll notice that there's always sugar and bits that are stuck in there. What you'll do is you'll take the little cabana spout, which is like how when you sometimes pour your Coke like that, or a lemonade or something, you can get a little bit of soda water, put it in there, and just swirl it around and top it up there. I'm just going to do it with water. Okay, so I'm going to swirl around, and what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get the sugar as I pour it out. So I get the rest of the sugar in the drink, and then to finish it off, I'm just going to garnish. Okay, I'm going to see with the sprig that I've left there, and then that's my mojito. Normally I would take 2 straws as well, and I'd put it in the side. A good bartender always tastes their drink, so I don't have straws with me. Sorry, I would normally just put my finger on a straw that I've got near me, and I put my straw in the drink. I taste it just to taste that it tastes good. If you have a bartender who doesn't taste their drinks, that is a bit dodgy. So you'd want to taste your own drink and make sure that it tastes nice, and then you take that straw and you throw it away so that the person can see that you're not just using the same straw each time. So that's what your mojito looks like, and I hope you enjoy drinking it. Pause.